Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Beyond Instinct. Today I've got with me Russ Edgar.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
And he is from VDM Design Agency, and I'd like to get him to introduce himself, and then we'll get on to the subject today, which is graphic design.
Oh, graphic design, creative design, love it. Yeah, so I'm Russ Edgar. I'm owner of VDM Agency, and we are a design and branding agency. I've been in the game for well over 35 years now, and I'd like to think that I've seen it all. Been there, done that, got many a T-shirt, and yeah, I think I know design now, finally.
So thank you for that. So the reason I got Russ on today is because I've known Russ for many years, and I class him as one of the best designers, if not the best designer I've ever used. But I wanted to talk about the science of design, but we might be able to sneak on into that a little bit later. But first and foremost, let's start with the main question. What does design mean to you?
Well, I think it's being a designer. It means everything to me. It's not just a way of making money. It's how I look at life. It's what interests me, what draws me to things. It's how can I make things better for my clients. It's in everything you do and look at. You know, I'm sitting in a nice little booth with you right now, and I'm looking at these really beautifully designed chairs. You know, it's everything. It's not just the logo. It is life. And that sounds really, really broad, and you know, and I'm encompassing everything you could possibly think of, but it really is. It's from how you choose your box of cereal in the mornings through to what chairs you choose to sit in the afternoon, or what desk you sit at, or what phones. I know we always have arguments about discussions about phones. It's in everything you do. You can't ignore design, whether it's personal or as we're sitting talking as in business.
So why does design mean so much to people? So it took me a good probably 3 or 4 years before I even paid a penny for design. Could do it all myself.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Those who don't know, I was a mechanic first, so you can imagine what they look like. Now I rarely design. Well, I don't design anything myself. And at the beginning, I thought, well, a logo, what does that really mean? Or, the way something's laid out, what does that really mean? And obviously, there's the psychology of how people read things, a flyer or whatever.
The hierarchy. Yeah,
that makes sense. But why do you find these people will spend thousands upon thousands on a logo?
Because. And I remember meeting you originally, years and years ago, and you were wanting some design help, and looking at, quite rightly you did, looking at the leaflets you're producing and the websites you're producing. Every business owner, and I totally agree with what they go through, needs to start somewhere, and they need to start with minimal budget maybe and do stuff themselves. But there comes a point where if you are still going as a business and you're really, really serious, you have to take that next step. You have to be looking as good as you possibly can do, whether it's on a £500 budget or a 500 grand budget, to stand out against your competitors, to appeal to your customers. You have to reaching that point is just so important to understand. Design can make the difference between. I always use the analogy of estate agents. In the old days, they used to line up down the high street, all next to each other. There used to be like 5 or 6 or 10, all next to each other. They used to be like, be together in the town centre. How would you choose the different estate agent? They all do the same. They all do similar kind of percentages for you in the sales. But how do you choose? And which one to walk into? And it's purely by the aesthetics, the design. What's the shop look like? What does the logo look like? What does the old sheet of where they printed it out look like? And you're going to be attracted to that initially. So I think I've answered your question. but I've rambled on far too long, and it's like it's design can make or break whether your business can advance or just stay stationary, really, with good branding and good design.
So I really appreciate that, and thank you. So there's something I wanted to shoehorn in here, which I said I was going to try and do earlier.
Yeah.
And Russ pulled a face like, how are we going to talk about that? So design, obviously, imagery, like why are we as humans bothered by it? And the bit I was going to shoehorn in is like, I said, even cave people drew on the walls. Why?
Well, okay, I'm gonna give a little bit of background first, okay, and then we'll get to the caveman. I'm an uneducated graphic designer. School kind of bypassed me by a little bit. I left as soon as I possibly could do at 15, I think it was. Went into some kind of secondary kind of education, university, college. Wasn't great. Wasn't design. And then just landed my first job, which happened to be in a design studio. I certainly wasn't doing design work at that point. So I've never gone down the whole university route. So I've never really gone, this is why graphic design is blah, 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 psychology, all this kind of stuff. I've never learned that because I've been taught right from the very outset how to be a commercial designer. So that's what makes me to be a great designer that I actually am, because I've been taught to be commercial right from the outset so I can get the very best product for my client as soon as possible. It's not all airy-fairy design. So to answer your question, design is design. We could all look at a logo or various logos and all choose something different, what we like about it. So I can't answer that question about psychology of design because it's also personal. When I sit with a client, I want to dive in as deep as possible to understand what their requirements are. But there still has to be an element of I'm designing for you because it's what you want. I know you're particularly fond of the odd animal in your logos and blue. So when I'm working with you, I know I have to think about those, and you always mention those. But to have your ideas, we also need to think about how's that going to work for your clients. We're designing for you, but not 100% for you. We're designing for your client base as well, who we need to attract and make sure that they land on your website and they want to engage with you. So there is a lot of thought that goes into it, but maybe I'm not the one to answer that kind of question about the psychology behind it, because I'm working with you in a personal level rather than thinking it's up here, I'm working more deeply.
So I think you are the one to answer it. And I think you've just answered it. So from what I'm hearing from what you've said is that you sit and you really dig into people about what it is they want. I've always had this thing about a logo until you become Apple, Levi's, whoever, big brand. The logo means more to the person or the company than it does your consumer.
Yeah.
So when you're saying you don't, you're good commercial, and I fully agree. But what you're doing is you're digging in somebody, finding out actually what they want to project to the world.
Yeah.
And then trying to put that into a logo.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess what you're doing is almost trying to take their persona.
Yes.
It doesn't really answer why cavemen drill on a wall.
I think, but we'll come back to that.
Okay, fine. All right. I was going to have a theory, but I'll let you.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So, what I'm saying here today is that design is everything, but also isn't everything.
Yes.
I know that obviously as a designer that's hard to hit, but
yeah, no, that's true.
I've sold stuff and got really big clients with terrible design on my website, but that's because I'm portraying myself as myself. When the company becomes bigger and the company needs to take on my values, beliefs, and everything else, the design carries it, I think. Well, so the people do.
But that's when we're also talking about branding as well, though.
Yeah.
So that's a whole bigger piece rather than just going design on a logo. Branding is you.
I always call it the same thing.
Yeah, I know, but it's like that.
Yeah.
Branding's not just a logo. You read that everywhere, which is true. branding is the way you talk, the way you pick up the phone, what you dress, how you present yourself everywhere.
So I call that culture now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's culture. Culture with design attached to it.
Perfect.
So the design is there for when no one can talk.
I agree.
So somebody needs to be able to look at what's going on, look at your website or your logo or whatever it is and go, yeah, that feels like that company.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to create a feeling, I think is what it is, an emotion. And I never really understood that, I think, at the beginning, because I guess I was just me.
Yeah, you're more sales orientated as well. I know from working with you in the past, you are just pick up the phone, talk to them and make the sale. Whereas you're not relying on having a beautiful website necessarily or the best looking business card, to hand over, because you know that regardless of what that first introduction when they've looked at your website, as soon as you speak to them, you're going to make the sale. So there's that confidence of your sales ability as well to back up or to step over your actual initial design.
So that's really interesting because at the moment, Motion's going through that pain. So I'm stepping back from Motion, especially in the sales aspect. And I know, because I had a conversation today, that everybody wants me to step back in because it's not going as good. And through working with an external sales consultant, we have found out that what happens is roughly 70% of marketing, out of 100% should be marketing, out of the sales cycle, should be marketing, 20% sales, and then 10% marketing at the end to convert.
Oh, okay.
Just one of the theories, right? But I've heard it from two separate people now, and I've read it in different places, and that's kind of how it works. So, but what's happening is, being an owner, founder, I'm doing 100% myself. So that's 70% of marketing at the front, which is normally done by a website, videos, assets. What I class as sales assets, I'm doing through the phone call, through the conversation. So I'm doing all of that, and I'm doing the final 10%, and I'm doing the sales. Now, if you ask then a team to do that, it's quite rare that they would do that, because they're not a founder. They haven't had the experience. They haven't had the passion. They haven't had the ups and downs. They haven't lived and breathed it. It's much harder.
Yeah.
So what Motion's going through at the moment is developing that 70% of sales assets, or marketing assets, if you like, and the 10% in the end. And basically extracting out of Michael what Michael does in that 70% and making it real in the world. So the company gets more of the persona of what seems to work. I'm not saying that the company needs to be Michael, but there's obviously something there that's working that isn't at the moment. And we've got a website which is well designed by you.
Thank you.
And we've got videos, and we've got we're active on LinkedIn. We're on, we're doing all those things as Motion.
All the usual marketing bits.
But they're nowhere near the level of where they need to be to take that 70% away from me and make it into an actual physical thing that others can lean on.
Yeah.
Because I've got the confidence behind the company, because it's my company. So at the end of the day, I know it's going to work. And I know that customer is going to get what they deserve, because even to my detriment, that will happen. A salesperson in your company, doesn't matter how passionate they are about working for you, they don't have that level of confidence because they don't have that level of power normally.
No.
So not only does the salesperson need the confidence of that 70% assets at the front that tells them that, when you're in front of a customer and you say this will happen, it will, the customer also needs it as well. So I just wanted to chip in there, because from my side, it's interesting you say that, because that's something that's exactly happening right now.
Good.
And I guess that's why you believe more into design, brand, everything as the company grows. The bit I don't like as much, and I do love psychology, but I don't like the blue is the feeling of this.
Oh, I agree.
Spending $4,000 on a branding strategy. I don't believe you need that. What you need to do is actually pull out from the company what the persona is, what the confidence is, what it stands for, and then capture that in something that when you look at that and you go, yeah, that's Motion, that's VDM, that's Russ, that's Mike, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. I mean, going quickly, taking that back to the 70%, the bit that you're doing, as businesses our size, yes, if you want an orange logo, regardless of what orange means, and it happens to be your favourite colour, whatever it might be, if you think working with your designer or your brand agency, if you think it's right and we can make it work, then do you know what? You need to still be 100% happy handing the business card over if you still use them, or with the way the website looks. If we go, no, Michael, what on earth are you talking about? Orange? No, it needs to be pink. Are you going to be that 100% happy that it's the right decision? I think you'll always still have that niggling doubt in the back of your mind. So although we will advise about X should look like this, we still want to make sure that you are completely satisfied and confident, which is the bottom line of it, in your final product, that you are going to go off there and hand over or pass to the sales team. This is why we're doing this, because it's that. Not necessarily because it's pink because it has to be like this. It doesn't work like that. On paper, yeah, but in practice, no.
I think it's also about what you were saying there is it's about the people getting behind it.
Yeah.
So we all joke that Michael Russell colours are blue, cyan blue, I think it is, or you'll know the proper word.
Yeah.
I call it cyan blue.
It's Michael Blue. That's what we call it.
Cool. Michael Blue, black and white.
Yeah.
And the Beyond Instinct podcast has all three colours.
Yeah.
The Motion logo has all three colours. Orca Intelligence, which runs the podcast, doesn't. It's missing the blue. And
yeah, at the moment.
And I've never been able to get fully behind it because of that, and that sounds crazy. But it doesn't. It feels boring because it doesn't have that colour. Yeah. And those colours came from the fact that years and years ago, we had a company called CSA, which my granddad started, and the logo was red. And then my dad, because it stood for Cambridge Sandblasted and Abrasives, right? And then they eventually did pressure washers, and now we do train cleaning and whatever, right? Machines. And my dad changed it to CSA because it made no sense, sandblasting. That's not something they did anymore. And he put blue in there, and I'm assuming that's because his favourite colour. Don't know.
More right.
I never asked. But because I sat on that logo for so long, which was, it was a red letters with blue and then black with blue, I believe.
Yeah.
And then when I got it redesigned by you, the black, the blue and the white space came in. That's where it sat forever.
Yes.
And now that feels like Michael, and it's really weird.
That's brand. It's Michael's brand. And that's what it is. It's where you're comfortable. It's what you're happy at. I know there's one company logo designed for you, which we haven't mentioned. You've been nagging at me for a little while to change, and which is the Falcon, because it's an orangey yellow, and you're not happy with it, and that's the reason why, because it's not in this blue, and it's like out of all of them, it's probably your least favourite.
So yellow is actually my favourite colour, and that's why I got it in yellow.
Yeah.
But it didn't look right.
Yeah.
And it never looked right. So I think you'll find we haven't redesigned it yet because it's like my personal consultant company, and hasn't got a huge amount going on at the moment because I've got my hands full with everything else.
Yeah.
But I just clicked on it and got it flipped to blue straight away. So it's blue. It needs doing properly. Yeah. But I had to do it blue because I was like, it just feels wrong.
But we're talking about the larger brand piece. As we sat in the blue room, it's Michael's branding. It's Michael's design. It's where you're comfortable. It's where talk about the Orca logo, no blue in it, and you've never liked it. And I know you've never liked it. You liked it initially, but you want to tweak it to be in your happy space. But that's clearly psychology. That without it, you're not happy or 100% confident in it.
I have to lead it.
Yeah.
I have to lead the company, and I think that to lead it, I need to feel it's mine.
Yep.
And it's black and white at the moment because we had a collaborative approach within the company to redesign the logo. And after some recent discussions, I need to be more behind it. And for that to happen, I need to change the logo, which is crazy to do.
Especially after you made all these mugs and stuff.
Well, yeah, I love the company, and obviously I love the work it does, and I love the people, and everything's great. But for me to drive it, it has to feel right. And also then, it sounds really weird, but I think that if we're in those colours, then because I do have multiple businesses, and in the future when my kids are older, I'd love to have more. It's kind of the thing I love doing.
Kids or businesses? More kids or more businesses?
Well, both to a certain degree, but Julia doesn't listen. So it's okay. But kids, I would love more kids, but we've put a stop. We're not going to go into this.
That's my story.
But basically, no, I'll tell you.
Sorry, Julia.
My theory on kids is, right, we've got 2. That means 1 each, right? We can tackle 1 each. Yeah. I feel that if we have a third, then we're taking time away from one of those 2. Yeah. Right, and that sounds weird, right? But that's where I am on kids, just so everyone in the whole world knows.
I was the youngest child out of 3, and yeah, you're right.
No one even knows who you are.
Cool. Talk about go off tangent.
And business, I'd love more businesses because I just find businesses and business people and the psychology and everything and dynamics, economics, culture, everything around it I love. And I kind of like the idea that I have a certain way of running businesses and I have a certain culture. So if you go to Orca, if you go to Motion, the culture, the way that people are, the way that we run it is the same almost, although they do different things.
Yep.
And I feel the consistency across the branding and the logos say that.
Helps it as well.
They're like Virgin.
Yes.
Right. So Richard Branson is very consistent with how he runs everything. You see the V, you know what company you're going into.
Yeah.
And you can feel Branson the second you get in there, right? Regardless if it was his record shop, if it was his trains, Coke, wherever it was, the soft point, whatever. He has a culture of how he runs things. And I think, I'm not Branson. I don't have an airline. But...
not yet.
Not yet.
It'll be blue, black and white.
It will. Although after the podcast I listened to the other day, I'm not going to get them painted because it saves thousands on fuel.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah, I like that.
So it'll be silver, but then the logo can be blue, black, white.
Okay.
But anyway. I've got to think of a new animal as well. Mongoose Airlines.
Oh, God, mongoose.
It's a good animal.
Anyway. Something that flies would be pretty apt, I thought.
Nah, it's too obvious. Something that definitely doesn't fly would be even better.
Penguin Airways.
Pigs might fly Airways.
Okay.
There we go.
That's pink. That's a pink pig, though. It's already another blue pig.
Yeah, anyway. So what I was saying is I think the branding needs to be consistent, and I think it is key. And I think that I can make a logo. I have made a logo. I got behind my own logo, but it's about the confidence in the person. So the psychology of the person being confident of having that brand behind them. It's almost like having somebody with their hand on your shoulder when you're in a meeting.
That's a really nice way of putting it.
I'm with you here.
Really nice way of putting it. And that's really where my strength as a designer has come from is, I believe, I give clients confidence in their product, whether it could be a price list or a website or a branding overall kind of piece where it could be the logo, it could be the letter, it could be the business card, it could be absolutely everything, it could be a sign on the side of a car. I give confidence. I've had it said to me from clients before, I am that virtual designer sat in the corner of their offices. They can just go, oh, I need X. I'll just give Russ a call. We can get that done. Like I've done for you over many years. I am that that hand on the shoulder for you to pass that business card over, because every project needs to be absolutely 110% absolutely perfect. It's going to work for you, and that's where I think, taking it right back to the very beginning, what a logo does, I think we just hit the nail on the head there. It's a confidence piece, and if you support that with well-crafted design brochures or websites or whatever it might be, it's going into the room full of strangers and handing out your card, introducing yourself, and going, this is who I am. Buy from me.
And it looks and feels like you as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
And that's through sitting and talking to people. And, I don't ever take on a logo job without meeting and talking to people. Why would I do that? You have to understand what the project is, who the person is, what the goals are at the end of it, what's it going to be used for. You can go on to, we've had this conversation before, go on to Fivers of this world and pay 30 quid to get a logo done. Off you pop. go on, off you go. Are you going to be that 100% happy with it and confident with it once you've got your logo and then you've gone into Canva, created your business card, and then jumped online, found an online printer and hope for the best, and then you're going to go off into your networking meeting and hand this card over? Are you going to be that confident? I'm not that sure.
You might be until you level up.
Or until you realise what you're missing out on.
Yeah, so one of the things I've noticed in business, and this isn't just design, is that you're happy with something until you level up. So you think your website's incredible, and then you've moved from, 400 turnover to $1 million, and then you think your website sucks.
Yeah.
But it's because you've leveled up, the company's leveled up, the staff's leveled, like everything's got to another level, so you have to then take it more seriously.
Yeah.
I made the decision 4 years ago now to move CSA, JTT, which is another company I bought, and Eagle, which was, it once was a bigger company, but it was small by the time I bought it, which pretty much 3 of them did the same thing, or bought Eagle, almost probably given to a certain degree, because I don't think it really had any assets or anything there. And I made a decision to combine all 3 and call it Motion. And at the time I was and am I going to destroy 40 plus years of heritage of these names, JTT and CSA, which people listening probably don't know who they are, but in their market, they were pretty big names. CSA at one point, biggest distributor of pressure washers in Europe back in the 80s.
That is some...
not anymore. It was tiny, but by the time I got to it. But at the time it was, and there was historic customers that we've still got now, that have been with us since the 70s, and I thought if I change the name, is everyone get scared? Are they going to run, etc., etc.? No one batted an eyelid, and I was so surprised. And the reason being is because I made the time to speak to the clients that mattered.
Yeah.
So they knew that it was just a change of logo, not a change of Michael.
Yeah.
The fact that we were sensitive to the colours, the branding. So Motion is in its own type font, but it's got the swirl of CSA with the star of CSA.
Yeah. That was important.
Yeah.
It's so important we kept that as that nod to the past.
It's not a million miles away from where it was, but with a new name, and everyone I've spoken to really likes it now.
Good.
They're like, it's a thing. That's where CSA is a doesn't mean it.
It could mean
JTT doesn't mean it. Motion is a brand. It's what people have said to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Without being rude, I see these things all the time. Like, they start out like, I don't know, Gary's Gardening Services, and then all of a sudden they've got 20 gardeners going for them, right? They need to turn into more than Gary's Gardening Services. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe that's my personal opinion, but they need to make it more than Gary. It needs to become whatever, Tulip, I don't know,
GGS,
whatever, right? It needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to stand for something. We chose Motion, or I chose Motion because it meant movement.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, and we're going to move forward. Clients move forward, everything else. There was a few other words that meant something like that. And when I first chose it, everybody, even people that are in the business to this day, were like, oh, I don't like it, I hate it. They love it now. They love it.
This is a break from the norm as well. It's a break from the norm.
Yeah, most people in our industry, or that industry, are named after surnames, letters of initials, or something like, or the product. So that's how they're named.
And when you're picking up a brand like Emotion from previous businesses, what's the point of just doing a little merge, little nudge into a different direction? Pick it up and drop it somewhere else. Literally go, okay, no, it's not that. I'm going to group them all together, scrunch them up, and it's going to come out as a different entity, or not a different entity, but a different beast after all. So don't just do it from CSA to CSB. Give it a whole new thing. Have confidence. You've already got the confidence to do that. To have the confidence to introduce it to something else as well.
Yeah, I think I was nervous doing it, but I think that off the back of it, it worked. We did try the hybrid. If you remember, you designed that logo of all of the logos together.
Yeah, that was hard work.
Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. People were so confused.
Yeah.
They were like, what is this? Because I thought it'd be damaging them.
That's really difficult to answer that on the phone as well, isn't it? So it's like, blah, blah, blah.
CSA, JTT, Motion. Yeah, so, and then we had it, so it had those logos with Powered by Motion underneath. because I thought that would be like a soft launch. And after about 2 weeks, I went sod it, and we just went straight to motion.
Yeah.
Because it was just too confusing for everybody. But you know, getting into design and talking about design, I think that at the beginning, no, you don't need it probably as much. Being honest, like not to detail you what you.
No, it's a lack of education as well. But it's also I'm a massive advocate of businesses who are starting up and got very limited budget. Go off and find yourself and sit in Canva. You know, I'm happy to sit here today as a old designer who loves his Adobe products and Photoshops of this world. Go off and play in Canva and get where you want to get to, and then play with it, send stuff out, earn some money, and then come along and speak to your local friendly designer who can advise. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It could be just, okay, you got a good logo there, but let's make it great. I advise we do that. I'm happy to sit here and just be a bit of a consultant for people. You've already doing really well here, but have you thought about doing that? Let's not create it in Word. Let's do it over here, or change the fonts from Zapf Chancery or Comic Sans into something a bit more professional. Maybe it's that kind of leveling up that's probably needed, or they're more of an education piece, really.
I think for me as well, though, it's the fact that, so when you do it, it's unique.
Yeah.
So Canva has millions of things. So the likelihood of me choosing something that someone else has chosen and coming across is very unlikely. But still, the uniqueness that this is our thing.
Yeah.
No one else has got this. They could copy it. They could, and they should copyright it. Which is what
they're not going to do that, though.
But some people might. But if it's that good, they might.
Yeah. Well.
We actually got, I don't know if I told you, it's the Orco logo. Somebody commented on it on LinkedIn, and they're from Canada, and they're Orca Intelligence, and they are a logistics company. And it's almost identical. The logo, it's really, so the fact we're having a redesign is great. But
I knew there was an Orca Intelligence out there. I didn't realise it was similar.
Yeah, it's really similar, yeah.
They must have copied you.
They've been going longer, I think. But anyway. Have you been over to Canada recently?
I might now.
But I think that the real bit that I'm getting to is, it's the confidence, it's the mindset of the owner. It's one of those things that go into being an owner, being a founder, being a CEO, whatever it is. It gives you that.
I
gives you that confidence.
It really does. And I'm saying here today wearing my new cap, my baseball cap.
Go on, plug it.
Go on, yeah, thank you. Good timing. Fairways 360. And I know we've spoken about this logo as well, and it's the reason it looks the way it does is, and it's been thought about. It's because, I've been playing golf for 35 years, blah, blah, blah. I am a traditionalist. When I was a kid, everybody was wearing the old check trousers and check jumpers and, mishmash of colours and all this kind of stuff. It was Nick Faldo heyday kind of stuff, that kind of era. And I wanted, when I set up my golf business, I wanted it to be traditional. I wanted it to be a branding which would speak to a generation of golfers 30-year-old, 35, 40, 60s plus. And if I went out there and just literally threw everything at it and over-designed it and made it bright pink or whatever it might be, and starbursts everywhere, it's not going to appeal to those people. So I deliberately went traditional and safe and a nod to the current golfing kind of nostalgia kind of piece. That's deliberate, and that's who I'm trying to appeal to. But it's my personality in it. It's bright green, against black and some nice creams and all the browns and bits and pieces. It works really, really nicely. It's my personality, but it's also talking to my client base as well.
So firstly, I'm not massive into golf. I've had loads of golf lessons when I was younger. I thought it was green because I'm sure that the fairway is green.
They are, but not at the moment. They're quite brown.
Okay,
but generally they are green. But no, it's a bright, vivid green. It looks nice against the brown and the black.
There you go.
But that's psychology of colour.
Well, it is. I think that one of the other things that we're talking about brands. So if you think of businesses as well, that I know we talked about personal businesses, but like I'm wearing Levi's today. I've got a Levi's t-shirt. I've never really been a branded person apart from when I was 18 and went through a phase of having Lacoste polos. I cannot believe the amount of money I spent on those at the time. It's crazy.
I'm the same with Vans trainers. I can't get enough of those.
So this is really interesting. So I never owned a Levi's product until 2 years ago. I would probably say I've got 3 pairs of jeans, 2 polo shirts, a jacket, and I don't know, some t-shirts or whatever, right? It's like Levi's has just thrown up on me all of a sudden, and I've hit 37, right? So Levi's probably isn't an 18-year-old's brand.
No.
It might be, I don't know. No. Or maybe it was one day, but it's not at the moment.
Well, you're reaching the age where you can do double denim and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do that. I've got a denim jacket. Wrangler is another one. Oh, yeah. So they're similar.
Yeah, but you're right, though.
I've got a lot of Wrangler stuff. And I've obviously hit an age subconsciously where I'm like, yeah, that's a cool, mature brand. Now, I've never had branded stuff. I've always been, as I said, like plain t-shirt. I've never really been into brands, but something right now is making me love Levi's.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got a rucksack that's Levi's. I've got one of those shoulder bag things that all the kids have. That's Levi's. And they're like, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
And I've been completely sucked into this brand, and to the point now where I don't dare buy anything because otherwise I will be Mr. Levi. You know, I can't have any more stuff.
Yeah.
Hence how Wrangler came in, because it was like a slight alternative. I Googled alternatives to Levi's.
Wow, you actually Googled that?
Yeah. So, and Lee.
Oh,
my God. I've got some Lees. But what's happening to me? Like, why am I...
Old age.
Well, yeah, but why am I liking this brand? Like, obviously, this brand says something.
It's working for you, isn't it?
But it says something. So this, what is it? It's just, they call it a batwing, a red batwing.
Yeah.
The word Levi's on it. And what that says to me, I guess, is trendy, cool, middle-aged guy.
Yeah.
That's not
understated,
mature-ish, maybe?
Comfortable. What, you mature-ish?
Or the brand.
The brand.
The brand, mature.
Both.
You know, Gymshark, probably not mature.
No.
I wouldn't have said.
It's talking to you because you are the... I'm just going to throw... It's comfortable. It's working for me. It's reliable. You're not going to be one to go out there and they've got a hole in the crutch and they've got to like replace them in 6 weeks' time. So it's talking about that kind of ruggedness and without having to what's the best way of saying it? Without having to think about it. Does that make sense? You're literally just going, well, I know they're dependable. I know I can do that. I know they're perfect for whatever I'm going to do. That could be working in Orca, attending a meeting, or it could be working in motion and you're working in the forklift and whatever it might be. It's fitting your
so I think
lifestyle.
That's a good point, actually. So I think that, not that I would, but say if I bought an Armani, right, that says to me, rich, showy, that kind of thing. Levi's, I think, is classy.
Yeah.
It's. I might be wrong. It might mean different things to different people. For some people, I'm sure it means cowboy.
Exactly.
Right?
I was about to say that. Yeah.
There you go. Wrangler, definitely cowboy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, to me, it's probably saying, you know, I was going to use consistent, but I don't think it's right. Doing all right, but not showy.
Yes.
That kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like subtle success.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel the same way about, I've got a Vans addiction, and I've probably got about 20 pairs at home, and the brighter the colour, the pattern on it, that's what appeals to me. I've got ones that are odd shoes, so you've got one colour yellow, one colour blue, and it's like, that's the pair, but that fits my persona as a designer. They are a designer kind of tool for me. I like to be noticed when I walk into a room. I've got the big beard, I've got hardly any hair, I've got the loud trainers on, and and normally a pair of shorts and a golf top. It's created my brand, and I'm comfortable with that, and I'm happy to go to meetings and looking like that because that's who I am. Part of it might be reaching 52 and I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to rock up in Vans and I don't care. So there might be regressing a little bit there, or maybe I'm just trying to catch some of my youth again. But I just know they're Whereas you're comfortable with your Levi's and your jeans. I want a statement pair of shoes, but they're not expensive. Some of them cost 20 quid. Some of them cost 40, 50 quid or whatever. Some of them been bought off Vineyard because I really like the pattern of it. It's that kind of happy place. And I don't have to think about what kind of shoes I'm going to wear, because I just literally go there and shut my eyes and pick a pair out.
Yes, a little tip on that. Most of my Levi's are from Amazon, and you can get I got my Levi's polo for like £12.
Perfect.
If you went into Levi's, it'd be like 80.
If that.
Little tip for everyone there.
Yeah, or Vineyard.
Free
Vineyard.
tips.
Hey, Vineyard, you listening?
Yeah, can we get sponsored?
Now.
In a minute, we're going to be sponsored by Levi's, the amount we talked about.
And Vans, please.
So here's a really interesting question. So if it's your brand as a business, right, it's extending who you are, right? So I think even the brands you're wearing that aren't your business are something about you.
Yeah.
Because those Vans trainers, we all know they're £5 to make.
Yeah.
Even if you're spending 20 quid, if you go to Vans, they're 70. Right?
Yeah.
Someone's spending £70 where they consciously know it's £5 to make. They are okay with that.
Yeah. That's deep. Where do you want to go with this?
On psychology.
Ooh. Yes, I agree. Move on. That's the thing. It's like your phones, like Apple phones or Nokia phones. Nokia? Is that a thing these days? Probably not Nokia.
That's age.
Are you Blueberry? As they all is.
They're coming back, actually.
They are. And they don't look too bad. That's it. There's I'm sure your jeans aren't being made in Montana, America. I think they're probably being made in Taiwan in a sweatshop maybe, but it's I don't know. That I'm probably not a good person to ask.
It's peacock syndrome now, I think, isn't it? It's your peacock. So another shot. It's what it says about you.
Yeah,
I think that we are as humans, we are trying to distinguish ourselves as much as possible and be noticed and remembered. I think personally, it's a personal thought. Brand does that.
Yeah.
Now Levi's, everyone buys Levi's, right? Yeah, everyone buys Vans. So there's an argument. I'm only doing it a little bit there or whatever. Yeah. But to me, it's enough for me to be different, be a bit noticed, whatever it might be. Yeah. And I guess it's the same for shoes, for phones, for whatever it is. You either want to be part of the pack, Apple.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, sorry.
Yeah.
And you want to fit in and you want to have the latest thing like everybody else and not put your head above, or you want to have the two shoes that are different colours Vans and stand out.
Yeah.
But actually, do you know what? Both of those reasons are a reason that design exists, because it makes things different. It makes a product, a shoe.
Yeah.
You think realistically, if we looked at a shoe as a purpose, it needs to make it not hard to walk on the floor.
Yeah, keep your feet to.
How many pairs and colours and brands of shoes are in the world? If we didn't need brand, and we didn't care,
I'm going to come back to that word again: confidence. My Vans give me confidence. Bizarrely, I've got other shoes which I probably don't wear like 3 times a year because they're just not who I want to be. And it might be that if you, rather than wearing your Lee jeans or your Levi's, would you feel the same about wearing a pair of Tesco jeans or
So I used to, and it never bothered me. I used to. All my work jeans are from Tesco's, pretty decent jeans. My leisure jeans were the cheapest stuff I could find from wherever.
I'm not knocking.
No.
You were buying it as well, by the way.
Never bothered me, but for some reason now, I like to wear Levi's.
Yeah.
So something's changed within me that makes
Yeah.
But it's got to be psychology.
Yes.
It's got to be. It's got to be the fact that there's something about me wearing Levi's is making me feel something.
Yeah.
And the way things are designed make me feel something.
Yes.
Make you proud, make you, as we said, confident, whatever it might be. And I guess what I'm saying is the people out there that are maybe feeling a bit like, I don't know about the business and I'm not sure, or a bit of branding will turn that around.
It's like back to its core. It's basic.
Look at our good friend old Cookie.
Yes.
So Jack, he was on the podcast.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. Perfect example.
He did his own logo. I think he would admit it's not great, but it started that way. It's where everyone starts. I recommended him over to Russ, and Russ delivered a logo that he absolutely loved.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh, has it turned the feeling of his business around? Like when he did that event and all the new logo and then all the banners and everything are designed similar.
Stunning, wasn't it?
Next level. It made it look from a business that was in a shed. Sorry, Jack, not being rude. I'm just using it as an emphasis. It wasn't actually in a shed, but to a really executive, lovely business.
Yeah, and we stood in front of that event was 100 people in there.
From are all Barclays Bank associates, highbrow people, and it fitted.
And do you know how we got to that point? We dissected what Jack actually wanted, what he couldn't do for himself. We took it apart and understood what he actually wanted to, or how he felt he wanted Cookie Cut to be represented visually, and that's how we end up where he is now. And it looks, I can't remember how many Jack's got in his team now, but it doesn't look like it's let's call it a 5-person business. It looks like a 20, 30-person business now. It looks like it will go up against anybody in any kind of competition.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference. I mean, before
that's levels again.
Yeah, shed was unfair, right? Freelancer is where he was.
Yeah.
The website was Freelancer, the logo was Freelancer, and don't get me wrong, his Freelancer logo and website was better than my original logo and website. So he would not take this in offense. But after the rebrand, completely different logo.
Yeah.
Not even close to where he was. Did we hold the colours in the end?
We did. Yeah.
We did hold the colours. So we brought the colours with it, but the logo is completely different. And oh my gosh, next level. And if you saw the two businesses on a page in front of you and you had to choose one of them and they were the same price, every day, even if the one was more money, I think you'd go for that one.
Yeah.
Purely for branding.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we haven't even, Jack hasn't even updated the website. He's just dropped in the new logo onto the website and tweaked a few things here and there, but the logo's still the existing logo. The website is still the existing website. And that just goes to show, even just by having that little tweak on your overall branding, the confidence it gives you and the doors that it will open up for you. We did the logo. We also did a little booklet for him with his Sky stuff and the banners for his show and a few other bits and pieces. And you're right, he is by far so much more confident in his own business, his own branding, and he's now grown the business since then as well. And I feel like this is what I'm saying, we're in the corner somewhere. I feel like we're part of every business that we work with. We're part of their business because we like to get under the skin of the product and become part owners. That sounds really weird, but we're part owners of that kind of brand because it becomes personal to us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that where one of the things we do in Orca is we move a founder away from the actual business because they normally are stuck together, right? It's unhealthy after a while. But we leave the business with the founder's morals, values, everything else, right? And they get more time and whatever. You do the exact same at design.
Yeah.
So where we were saying earlier that, I did the whole 100% of sales and marketing versus the 70, 20, 10.
Yeah.
We're extracting the things that I do, the branding, the way I talk, it's got to come out in pictures and words. Yes. To allow it to level up beyond Michael. That's what Jack did. I mean, he's in rooms having way bigger conversations now for way bigger projects. As the only things that have really happened is I give a bit of advice now and again.
Yeah.
And a redesign.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's funny how
nothing's changed. No staffing changed, no finance changed, no nothing.
It's funny how that changes not only outside perceptions, but your own perceptions of the business. And I always bring it back to the business card because I just love a business card. It's the old Japanese, respect where you hand a business card over, you're expected to look at it, study it, both sides. And I always do that with business cards because I'm fascinated whether it's a good card or a crap card. But it's that proud moment of handing it over to somebody and go, this is me. I want them to keep it. I want to keep it on their desk. It's that, if it's just that, then I've done my job. And it might just get them that next contract, that next job, that next project.
So all those people out there that are hiding behind old logos and old designs, it's actually worthwhile thinking. And I would have never believed it until I've gone through it. But I think the logo behind Motion is allowing us to have bigger conversations with bigger clients. There was nothing wrong with CSA or JTT at all. There wasn't. But
no, because the CSA logo we updated from the 1970s to whenever we did it.
Yeah,
it was actually a strong looking logo.
It was. But even when you walk into the room of Rolls-Royce and you're CSA, right? And I didn't start it, right? So yeah, great. I bought it. I carried on my granddad and my dad's, business, which is fantastic, and I was behind it. But CSA, why? And then I have to explain the sandblasting and everything. It wasn't relevant, and I think it probably knocked my confidence in a way somewhere. That why are we still doing this? It doesn't make sense, right? Apart from heritage, swapping it to Motion. Why Motion? Oh gosh, I can talk about it for hours. And it's its own thing, and that made a difference. And when I was smaller in business, I didn't realize. I just didn't realize what the power of brand behind the team and the founder or the owner is. People will take a job at, I can't think of anything, but like say Google, because it's Google.
Absolutely.
So there could be, I don't know, Steve's search engine business, and they pay twice as much. And I bet you people would choose Google because it's Google.
Absolutely.
They work for Google. And they believe in Google or whatever, any other brand that is loyal, or people will choose different brands because it is that brand.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going through something very similar with that VDM, talking of initials and everything. I'm a designer. I'm a brand designer, creative designer, whatever you want to call me. That's my core, and it's my love, it's my passion. If anybody doesn't realise, I used to have a business partner. Her passion, her core was marketing, and we originally, formed the business. Well, I formed the business, she joined in, but it was velocity, design and marketing, which then I hate the word velocity, so far too Alan Sugary for me, doing an apprentice. So I wanted to get rid of it, and we just decided to call it VDM. So now I'm having to explain what VDM stands for. So there's two things in there. I don't like the word velocity, which I have to explain, and then I have to counter it going, well, it sounds like Alan Sugar and the Apprentice. But we also, after my split with my business partner, we now don't offer marketing. So I'm actually at that pivot point in my own business. What do I do with the name? What do I, there's no love for the name of VDM. I love my business and what I'm doing and what I can do for my clients, but I hate the overall name for it. And I actually do hate the name because I've got to explain it. Similar to your sandblasting, we don't do marketing. So why would I keep the M in the VDM?
And you believe it means more to people than it probably does.
Yeah.
And the confidence behind you having whatever it ends up being, if it does change, will be tenfold you going into the room and shyly putting out a VDM card that you're not confident in.
Yeah.
So I remember I first got, when I first joined the business, it was CSA, fine, no problem at all. And I had business cards, and they weren't my dad's. They were a guy called Peter, who used to be the sales guy there, years ahead of me, before me he'd left. And Dad put my name over Peter's name, just stuck it over.
Oh, really?
Like a Tipex mouse. Not handwritten, like printed and stuck.
Yeah.
But you could see it was stuck on there. To Dad, that wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Because he's worked over 25 years, probably 30 years, including the years he worked for my dad, for Granddad. So he's got the company. He doesn't need the card. He's where I am now.
Yes.
I don't need the card now.
Yeah.
But the time I needed the card, and I'm giving a card to somebody with the fax number crossed out and my name stuck over somebody else's name.
Yeah.
I don't have the confidence. And I don't think he could see that.
Yeah.
And I can see why he couldn't see that, because he'd been there for 30 years.
Exactly.
He's got the confidence.
Different generation as well. Going.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
But for me at that point, I needed that confidence. I was handing out flyers that had stickers over with new prices and stuff. To him, that means nothing, because he doesn't need the flyer.
Yeah.
He could turn up with no card, no flyer, and still sell the machine and leave the customer happy. Of course he could, right?
Yeah.
And that I can do that now. After 10 years, I can do that. You know, we were talking in the office today. I get a phone call and that customer doesn't need to see anything, not even a demonstration half the time, and they'll buy from me because I'm so confident, so knowledgeable, guaranteeing things that I know will happen.
Yeah.
Joe, who's been with us, 6-7 months, is our new trainee guy, new sales guy. He is technically training, I guess. But he's doing really well. I don't know why I had to jump that in there, because I guess some people that hear he is a trainee maybe thought not. Anyway, he probably needs that confidence.
Yes.
You know, if I gave him a card with my name crossed out and his name, I don't know if he'd have the confidence to do it. He's a confident guy. Right, you know, for some reason he loves cold calling. Weird. But anyway,
Yeah, that is weird.
who cares, right? It's hard to find people like that. So hold on. But, you know, I think they need to be brought into the brand. That's why when you go to companies and your first day, you've got a pack in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's got, I don't know, you know, I've always thought about doing it. I haven't done it. But I do a pad and a pen and a mug on their desk.
Yeah.
But, you know, it would be nice to have, we still rock uniform, because I think that's cool. Making people feel the same. But that's why people do it, because they're bringing you in. And that logo, that branding, that stands for the whole company that you're now part of.
Yes.
And if you get to a desk and, you know, I'm not criticising, I don't want it to sound like I am, because I'm not. But if I'd have given Joe a card that had my name crossed out, his name written in, a flyer that had stickers on it, I don't think it'd be successful.
Yeah.
And
what's it saying about you as well? Yeah, because you're not really, and now this day and age.
No. So I don't think it says anything about me, apart from the fact that I'm so confident that I've forgotten how I used to need that stuff.
Okay. Not in a confidence that, or you're so blasé thinking, well, this leaflet's from 10 years ago. We've still got them. Why you've still got them? Because you're never giving them out.
No,
all your prices are changing.
I'd say in a stance of the fact that because I can do it, you get blind and you get used to what you do.
Yeah.
Right. So there's been a many occasion at Motion where I've gone, there's something missing here in sales, because I can sell every single time. And some of the other guys are struggling. There's got to be something I'm missing. And that's how I work. So I'm not sitting there thinking, Michael's great, everyone else is rubbish. I'm sitting there thinking I'm missing something, right? And we've worked out that, as I said earlier, I do probably 100% of the marketing and everything myself.
Yep.
These guys need the assets because they're not Michael and haven't worked at 10 years,
Absolutely.
which is totally fair. And it doesn't mean that they're not as good. It just means they haven't put the time in. And in this day and age, it's unfair to say, do you know what, Joe, you start today and in 10 years' time, you'll be really good. Like, that's fair.
No, I had the similar kind of thing with my designers as well, you know, because I've been around for 35 years. As I said right at the very beginning, I've seen everything. You know, I'm that old. I've seen trends coming back round again. You know, it's like, it's that bad. I've still, I can bring those T-shirts back out from 25 years ago. But the designers I've employed to work with me, I can't expect them to work to my level, you know, and they're great designers in their own right. Sophie is 2-3 years into her career from university. Oh my God, she is going to be a superstar in the future. She is just elevated from where she walked in through the door, and we took a chance on her, and her acceleration is just been literally, it's just skyrocketed. It's just brilliant. But she's still not where I am confidently. And then confidence comes back. She's educated. She's gone to university. She knows about the psychology of colour. But
Just got her on.
but then she's so good in other areas and so good. And then Amy, my other designer, again, she's a little bit on from where Sophie is. Really, really super creative, but then lack of confidence in other areas. Whereas I'm kind of a broad confidence everywhere because I've been around for 35 years. I can't expect them to design what I would design because I know I've been there and done it, and they need to learn to go through that process. It's exactly the same as Joe with his telesales and you with your experience.
Yeah, and I think that what you can do to help them, which is what we're doing now, is get those other assets, and those other assets need to be an extension of you or the company.
Yeah.
To give those people the confidence that they're in the right place, they're selling the right product, they're doing the right design, whatever it is, they need that, because, as I said, you just get used to your environment, what you do, you just get used to it. So we don't need those things anymore. Like, you probably don't need a business card. I don't need a business card.
No, I've got a beard.
You could give me your business card,
yeah,
and I could cross your name out, cross the company out, write Motion or whatever it is, Michael Russell, hand that to somebody, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But that takes years.
Yes.
You can't learn years. So to give people the best chance they've got, they need these assets.
They do.
In the end, my dad let me get some Vistaprint ones, which was god awful because I designed them myself. But you know what? They made me confident enough to hand them out.
Silly. Absolutely.
So he thought, what a waste of money, probably.
Yeah.
But that's because you get used to it, and you think, I've only been used to it for 10 years. He was used to it for 30 years, right? So he's got assumptions and normalities. I didn't even know what the specs were. So, and you can take things for granted quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just no one's fault. It's just the way that you get used to it. And I think that's why some people say, high staff turnover and that, right? I've had high staff turnover, 4 or 5 years ago, and I couldn't understand why. And I started thinking maybe it's me and all this other stuff. But it's just what you're used to. So me being me, I was digging in and going, right, why, how? And now, I mean, we haven't advertised. We've only advertised for people to come in, not to replace.
Yeah.
For the last, 3 years.
Good.
And that's been, it's a journey. Yeah. You need to know this. And this brand piece that, I don't want to go off tangent, but this brand piece it is everything to a company to grow, because people need to feel the community, the
family,
the whatever. They see
it has to be that family piece. You can only get that from what's around you. You're walking into a room, you could be working hybrid, you could be working at home. You still need to feel part of that family, even if you're working 10, 20, 30, 60 miles away.
If anything, it's more important, because you're not...
Exactly.
When you start as a founder, or you're running a small team, you've got influence.
Yeah.
So you don't need the mugs, you don't need the notebooks, whatever. If somebody's at home, they can feel isolated, not part of it quite quickly.
Yeah. Oh, massively.
And that, to be honest with you, that's a different conversation, but that's a very tough conversation of how do you make somebody feel a team when they're only in 1 day a week.
Yeah. That's something I've not experienced. So, we're literally just exploring it now. So yeah, I'm going to be putting on lots of...
But Sophie's been with you, so she's already been in.
She's got the culture.
That's different.
She's got the culture.
With day one remote, that's tough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's totally in office for what?
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. So her being at home, she already feels the culture. She feels all that. But you say you employ somebody tomorrow and they're remote 4 days a week. That's really tough. Yeah. Really tough. Especially if you had no branding.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're just sat in front of a laptop there's no ethos, or ethos isn't the right word. There's no design around you at all.
Yeah. Buy into our culture.
Tells you that you're part of anything.
Yeah, this is how we do things.
Yeah, there's nothing. And then you're sat there and isolated and you're not sure, and you've made no connections and they're friends. And anyway, the different conversation. But yeah, so anyway, we've gone on for quite a long time today.
Can we just answer the caveman thing?
Go for it.
I've forgotten about that. Have you got yours? Why they've reached the jaw?
I mean, I can make something.
Well, in my uneducated, thoughts, I assume, rightly or wrongly, that they used to draw through education. So, which is like teaching others, teaching younglings, young cave boys and girls. This is what we hunt. This is what we kill. Because literally, this is how we do it, and a way of vocalizing. This is what we like to eat, or don't like to eat, maybe. But I do think more than anything, it's a pride thing. It comes down to this is what I've done. This is what we're doing. This is who we are, kind of people. And rather than just clubbing over there and dragging it home and eating it or whatever. This is marking. Pride comes in all different levels. And it doesn't. It's not just now we're proud of things. Go back thousands of years. Why would they not be proud of what they've done? And it's memorizing and teaching and educating and being proud and confident of what they've done.
So I think that's really good, and I think that's along the lines of where I am as well. So I was joking, mate, something up, right? I've always got a theory about something. So
How much do I know?
I think for me, it's that deep human desire to be remembered and noticed. And a way to be remembered and noticed by them is leave a mark on a wall. That's going to be there
handprint or whatever.
As far as they're concerned, that's going to be there forever. They don't know about washing it off or whatever. Same of people that built pyramids. There's a mark that's been left, right? So
not that they're doing it at that precise moment to go, I'm going to leave this here for the future.
I think they are.
Do you think what the caveman was?
I think they are. I think that we as humans, we have this thing where it's just personal theory where everybody wants to be noticed or stand out. Now there'll be loads of introverts out there, and I'm technically I'm an ambivert.
I'm an ambivert. Oh my god.
Okay, it's a new thing. Well, I think
another different episode.
Yeah, I think I am. But anyway, there'll be a load of introverts out there, which is what I thought I was until somebody told me I was an ambivert. That will say that's not true. I don't want to be noticed. But in their own way, doing their own thing, they will want to be noticed.
Yeah.
You with your shoes, you want to be noticed.
I'm a shy guy. Right? But I like to stand out.
Exactly. People like to be remembered. They like to be noticed. They like status. I think that's the way our communities work. We work in a hierarchy. As much as there's a lot of people out at the moment that don't like that.
Yeah.
If we look at history all the way through, we seem to work as a hierarchy. My little boy goes to school and I can see him and his friends working out hierarchy. I can see it.
Yeah, so true.
And that doesn't mean a hierarchy full stop. It means a hierarchy in a scenario. So Harrison's very fast. So he's, I think, probably the fastest in his school. Or in his class. In his school would be crazy because he's year one and they've got year six.
That would be something.
Yeah. But so, in that hierarchy, he is top in speed. So when they're playing tag, he is the leader, right? There'll be others that are fantastic at English.
Yeah.
And in that hierarchy, there will be different. And so I think that we like hierarchy and order. As much as we think we don't, I think we do. Because if there's no leader, everybody's just bumping around together.
Yeah, that's true.
And hierarchy is status, and status is leaving a mark. And I think maybe what they were doing is what others have done through generations is leave their mark. And I think that everybody in some way is trying to be remembered. Now, miserable in 1,000 years, unless you've done something like the pyramids, you ain't going to be remembered.
Exactly.
No one's even going to know who Steve Jobs is probably in 1,000 years' time because Apple will be dead. No one will care about it.
Apple's going to take over the world and then the universe.
But what I mean is, very rare do things go on forever.
Yeah, you're right.
But Levi's, right? I don't know because I'm not that into it as much as it sounds like I am. I'm assuming the founder is dead. I'm assuming. So I think they were made in the 1800s. They started or something, right? So the founder's dead, but the brand lives on.
Yeah.
So his mark lives on. Now, if that founder never had a brand, if that founder never had a logo, no one knows who Levi is. Levi Strauss.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah.
I know because it's continued without him.
And
I think that goes back to the cave.
And while we're talking about cowboys and Indians and all that kind of stuff, branding. Where does branding come from? Branding comes from stamping it on the cow. That's where the original logo is.
What, like Levi stamped on my chest?
Yeah, like that. Literally, there's my cow. I'll have that one.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's
branding.
Maybe he played a game of how many people could I brand with logos, really. But yeah, that was my theory on the cave.
Nice.
But no, I really appreciate you coming on, Russ. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. I was unsure of what it was going to be like, but do you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really good. In my uneducated graphic design knowledge, but you can't be experienced for it.
You're not uneducated. You're just untraditionally educated.
Yeah, I like to
That makes sense. Yeah. So you learn by doing.
Absolutely.
As our friend Tim would say, experiential learning is the new word.
Whatever that means, but yes.
And I'm the same.
Yeah.
Right. I like to do to learn. If you throw me in the middle of something, I learn. If you try and teach me about it, I'm not overly interested. So, but yeah, Well
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Cool. We'll see you soon.